Today we'll speak about investments. Investments in a business, investment in with your money and your time. So that means investments in a business when you invest your money, and sometimes joining a team and joining a business. And there is both of those are very interesting topics, because sometimes people do not do anything because they don't know what kind of questions they need to answer before investing and before they're joining the business. So today I promise that you will have a little bit more clarity about how to choose a business to invest your time and money. And I will share 5 things to consider before joining any kind of business. So first one is that invest in people, not ideas, not the companies, because a lot of times people believe that idea is very, very important and is overestimate the power of idea, because if you put the best idea on earth to people who are not able to execute, the idea will fail. So we want to make sure that we understand who are those people who are committing to the idea to make this happen. Because a lot of times when you look into the founders and people who are building on that idea and executing it, we need to see, okay, what do they do besides this idea? A lot of times people work on 5 businesses, and the other businesses are main idea, main business, and this is just a plan C, plan D. And of course, if this is plan C and D in their eyes, why is supposed to be plan A for you? So of course we want to make sure that to understand who is running with this idea and how they committed to idea to make it work. Now second is investigate before commitment. Before commitment, you need to investigate, and there's both ways. Sometimes people jump in right away into the business without investigating, and some people do not accept the opportunity because they don't investigate. So because a lot of times people who do not have enough experience in entrepreneurship, they need to be extra careful not to commit and undercommit. So that means we need to find the people who are very credible, who have been build a lot of businesses, and ask them what kind of advice they could give. And of course, we need to be very careful who we listen to, because if they have never built a business, never invested in a business, we're not supposed to ask any question about it. Because people have a tendency to ask their friends and their family opinion about the business, but they have never built a business, so they will never give you a right answer. Even though they will want to help you, but they will not give you a right answer. So that means we want to make sure that we investigate both ways. If you think that is a bad idea, still investigate, figure out what is good about that idea, and then leave it. Because I think that a lot of times when we look into the business, we need to ask, okay, how I could make it work for myself. And then when you answer that question, then you need to always go to second. Okay, what could go wrong? So when you have both of those, then you're able to make a little bit better answer. Because a lot of times people start asking questions, what could go wrong? And if you, of course, asking what could go wrong, you can find so many different things that could go wrong. But if you start from the positive, okay, how I could make it work for myself, then you look into how you could make it work. And then you always need to make sure that you always ask yourself, what could go wrong? So you look into positive and you look at negative. And then you're able to move forward. Now, number 3 is risk, not gamble. And that is very interesting, because sometimes people pursue business and they expect that something external will happen for them to succeed. No, like if that's the business that you want to pursue, that is gamble. We want to make sure that when we join a business, when we invest in a business, that the business is truly through effort, through execution. So that means you 100% execute effort, and you put effort, and then you expect to succeed. And that means when you put your effort, of course, there's a lot of risks that could go wrong, but now it's a risk, not gamble. Because if you expect something external to happen for you to succeed, that is a totally gamble. Now, number 4 is very important, because everything what you do needs to be in writing. Don't give cash without a contract. Don't give your time without a contract, because a lot of times people lose their money and time because they never wrote what is expected from them and what is expected from the business itself. So that I have lost money, I know that my friends have lost money, so always need to make sure that when you join a business, when you invest in a business, you want to make sure that both of the parties get the contract and they know exactly what is on the stake. And number 5 is that understanding that your past doesn't determine your future. In the past, you could be investing in a business. In the past, maybe you joined a business, or maybe you build a business and you failed. But that means that this new idea and this new business could be told a different story. So that means, of course, we'll need to learn from the past, because how are you supposed to learn without making mistakes? Because people understand that you learn much more from failures than from successes. So when you understand it, you learn much more from failures and successes. So that you look into that lesson and failure as a lesson to succeed in the future. And of course, if you succeed in the past, you want to make sure that you do not increase your ego. You still need to be very curious, because assumptions that you are the best at the moment because you succeeded, that could lead to disappointment. So always make sure that you look in the past as just a glimpse, because you need to look now and be curious about what you need to build to succeed. Now, when you think about those 5 areas, I think that it's very, very important to consider all those 5s before joining any kind of business. So of course, invest in people, investigate before committing, then risk, not gamble. Number 4 is it must be in writing. You need to have an agreement. And 5, understand that your path doesn't determine your future. And if you have those 5 things in place, I truly believe that you will be much better in pursuing any kind of business. I hope you will choose to win, and see you tomorrow.